Okay. I'll just report. I'm doing the director's report a little bit different. I thought that it might be helpful just to go sort of by category of program as opposed to looking at numbers, mainly because we don't have anybody registered for anything or no numbers to report. But I also just think that it's a good way to kind of keep track of what we have going on in all the various folks that we serve and program areas that we serve. So just to start with summer camp. So the staff were notified on June 12th and parents were notified on June 22nd that we're not running a traditional full day summer camp program. Mostly the guidelines and regulations made it too costly for us to run. As I was saying before, a piece of that was the custodial fees from the school, but also the increase in staffing costs based on the minimum or the maximum group size set by the state. We are offering, and I did say in that email that we're offering other programming and to check back on our website, and that we'll be communicating those programs as they come out, and I'll talk a little bit more about those soon. Purely recreation. I've been in contact with the school. I had a meeting with Orla, the director of finance, and Amy St. Ange, our first select woman, and Melinda Smith, the superintendent, as well as the finance director for the school, and Bill Birch, the director of facilities, to talk about the fall. So they assured me that there would be space for us in the school for AM and PM care. And I'm a part of the re-entry committee for the school, which is meeting weekly. So as they start to talk about the regulations in the space and what the fall will look like in the school, she just encouraged me to, continually remind them of the needs of rec. We're going to start with the purely rec program. That's the main priority. And then see later as the school year starts, what chances we have to do other programming in the school. So I probably will look at September and October, look to the library for any additional programming that we might be doing, crafts or, specialty programs. And then after those first few months, once the school sort of eases into we revisit that conversation.
Is the library okay with that? The library okay with that?
The library's been very generous with their space. They're going to be opening up to us. They're going to be opening up to us on July 13th to use their space for some other programming. So yeah, they definitely are cautious, but they think that it's, they're taking in smaller group size, increased cleaning, time between groups. So.
Everybody have to wear a mask?
In the library?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. Currently, the library has also offered morning care. So if the school does not have space for us for morning care, the library has offered that because they don't open yet. So we could be in the facility without anybody else being in the facility and then go to the school and get bused to the school if needed. The school said that they didn't think that would be necessary, that we'd have the space, but it is there as a backup if that changes. Tentatively, I think the plan right now, as it's changing every day, is potentially a 4-day school week with a 5th day at home learning. Of course, that is changing constantly, but right now that's sort of the model that they're looking at. There was conversation around half days or every other day or this or that, but currently they're looking at 4 days as being that school day for the elementary age. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is that although the conversations are great right now, I do have a concern that things might change and we may see a bill from the school or an ask for custodial fees. So I'm chatting with Amy and trying to work out getting a contract in writing by July so that we really know what we're looking at. Because if we're going to see custodial fees after we've set our fees, it's going to put us in a difficult position where we're going to have to go back and raise the cost of purely rec or, find another location or just not be able to offer childcare at all. So I really want to secure in writing from the school what our agreement is for this school year.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely get it in writing.
Yeah, now I'm going to take that a step further because the cost that the fees they were trying to charge, would have anticipated charging us for summer camp were, I don't want to say ridiculous, but they were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm still very nervous about that. Oh, good, it's in writing, but it's going to cost us $1 million.
Right.
I think we've got to put a fight if it comes to it. They're looking for support from everywhere. They need to be supportive of other departments as well. I understand you had that conversation where the town pays for some stuff and then the school pays the town for some stuff and this whole thing. And if they can get something worked out, great. And if rec gets thrown in the mix with that, that's even better. But it's got to be a reasonable fee. They've got to understand the population. We're not in Simsbury. I'm sorry. Our people, our parents cannot pay what we were thinking about that we would have to charge for summer camp. And I think we've got to not just take it all in stride. It's our building all through the budget season. Jess can attest to it. The school said it's the town's building. It's the town's building. You need to be paying for this repair and that repair. But when we want to use it, it's not our building anymore.
Our building, yeah. I did find an old, and Renee, you'll appreciate this, in cleaning out my office. We're getting new carpets, so my office is all it's cleared out, as is Renee's. But I did find an old document showing a daily charge that the school, and it had like a chart, and it said if you want to use the cafeteria, it's $15 a day. If you want to use this room, it's this a day. You know, it was like from 2015 or something, and it was
that was all waived. So they tried to do that, and we put the fight up, and that was waived. Recreation got into the exempt group, and that's what we need to stay.
Yeah, so I think the next step for me is really to request it in writing, and I agree that it may come to it, but you know, I am planning a backup because we will have to find an alternative location if we're going to be charged.
But I guess my question is, before something comes to you in writing and they get their backs up and saying, nope, this is it, are there conversations about what's that going to look like? For you to pay a custodian to sit by a bathroom when you could pay an outside person half the hourly rate to sit by the bathroom and clean is unreasonable.
Yep.
She's unreasonable. And I know she's super sensitive to the whole corona thing, and many people are. I understand that, but look what has happened, you know, in such a short time. Like, this has been released. The group size now has gone from 10 to 14. You know, all these changes are happening like this. I do think there's got to be some accommodation for recreation.
Yeah, and I mean, the conversations so far make me believe, again, lead to that there won't be charges, and that she does understand the need for childcare, and the fact that they will be in the building. You know, I mean, they're already there, so it's like, you know, the building's not closed. So I think that if they're already in the building, like, why wouldn't we be able to?
I just don't want the surprise to come like that bill you just got.
I agree. I don't want this right. Yeah, and I did. So we did just get a bill. We had a conversation about not passing bills back and forth and not charging for this or charging for that. And right at the end of that conversation, I did get a bill from the school for custodial fees for things that happened in July, October, and January. So that was quite a surprise and a delayed bill, as I've been reporting to you all, you know, our finances, and was not expecting that bill. It was for a custodial fees outside of their normal hours. So it was for the Halloween laser light show, for basketball on Saturdays, for some camp days where we stayed in the building late. But I did request from their finance director that we're invoiced monthly, that we need to get that in a timely manner.
The laser show, I clean it up. It's cleaned up. Why are they, you know, there's not a lot of cleanup for the do at the laser show.
Right.
I go every aisle. There's hardly any papers. Why are they doing this? Because
yeah, I think, I mean, they do have a custodian there. I guess maybe they clean the bathrooms, and it's after their hours, their normal hours. So that was a
Small one.
The small one, that was around, $70.
Okay.
The real big charge, which I understand, but it's something that's really going to affect our programming, is the charge of basketball. It was around $1,800 for custodial fees to run basketball.
And they didn't mention anything like this before?
We were not billed the year before. I remember that from when I arrived, that we never received a bill the year before. So
Traditionally, we had paid.
we had.
Yeah. So we got away with it for a year, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I do tend to question some things. I wouldn't just take it all like, this is my minimum. You need 2 guys. You need that. You need that. I always used to try to do a little pushback, because if you can save $1,000 over the course of a year, it's worth it.
I pretty much said in that meeting with all those folks present, if we're going to be charged for custodial fees for purely rec, we won't be running. I mean, that's what I said.
Good.
We won't be running. We won't be running in the school. If we get any bill for before care or after care, we will not be running in the school.
And they've been good in the past and have not charged us for that.
And they have not charged us for that. Yep, I said if it's outside of the normal hours, the normal school hours that the custodians are working, that bill I understand. But we've never been charged for purely rec before, and we cannot absorb those costs.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Good.
I've said that a few times in that meeting. So I just want to put it in writing now and have that understood. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of special events that we have. I'll speak to first the Suffrage 100 events. Unless Renee, you want to report on either of those, I'm going to report on Don Williams, Prudence Crandall. Renee's got the beautiful background there of all of our suffrage posters. So if you want to, you can report on Prudence Crandall if you want.
Okay. So most of you probably know we're doing 6 months of suffrage to honor the anniversary of women getting the vote 100 years ago. This August 18th, I think, is the date. Leslie actually made us, think out of the box when we thought thinking we were going to have to cancel all our in-person events, and we've made it happen. So we did the sash making by Zoom, and then we actually did a vehicle parade, and we had 2 vehicles in the parade, which was pretty cool. And then we did Don Williams, who was supposed to do a talk at the old town hall. He did it via Zoom, and Leslie arranged all of that. And so we've been able to push forward, which is wonderful. The committee, we received a $4,000 grant, and we're putting it to good use. It's through Connecticut Humanities. So excited that Don's talk went very well. And beyond that, I'll let you talk about the next one coming up.
The next event is July 17th, and it's the first concert. It's a Friday. It's the first concert of our summer concert series. It's Tira Penn, who's our director of planning, and her band, the Snakes of the Amazonia. So that'll be at Riverside Park. I'll speak a little bit to the summer concert series as well, but that's the next suffragette event. And the registrars are going to be there as well. A piece of the suffrage events was to promote voter registration. And so this will be the first live event. So the registrars will both be there with registration cards to register to vote as well. So that's great that we're fulfilling that component of our goal, of our mission for voter registration. So speaking of the summer concerts, they are moving forward a little bit in a different format. The plan is to do 6 summer concerts, but due to the guidelines of social distancing at outdoor events, we are moving the location. So Steve will be happy to hear this. Welcome, Steve. And we're moving the location from the gazebo to a flatbed trailer that's used on Community Day, so a 14-foot flatbed trailer that will be at the edge of the ball field in Riverside, the baseball field in Riverside. So where the flagpole is and where that turnaround is, it'll be right on the other side of the wooden fence there on on the field. That will allow folks to spread out onto the outfield of the baseball field. The current guidelines for outdoor concerts and fireworks and events are 15 feet between chairs or blankets. So we'll be marking the field with small flags or X's on the field to sort of indicate where folks can sit and to spread out for social distancing. We'll also have some hand sanitizer on stands that's been ordered available to folks. So with coordinating this with DPW, the trailer that we use for community days where they store all their lawn equipment in the summer, where they're driving around town and mowing lawns. So originally the plan was to do 5 or 6 Fridays in a row, which meant that DPW would have to unload all their stuff, drive the trailer, hook the trailer, leave it over the weekend, secure it, drive back and get it, load their stuff back up. So 5 to 6 Saturdays in a row is going to be a lot to do that on Friday, end of the day. And so we agreed on 3 Fridays, 1 in July, 1 in August, and 1 in September. And then I thought, well, if the trailer's already there on Friday and it's staying secured for the weekend, why can't we do a show on Saturday as well? So the plan now is to do weekend shows, basically 2 different types of music to bring in a variety of a crowd, and 1 show on Friday, 1 show on Saturday, 1 weekend in July, 1 weekend in August, and 1 weekend in September. The great thing about this is it's 1 visit to Winnie to promote 2 events. It's 1 ad in the paper to promote 2 events. And again, I think that location will be ideal. It'll really allow for a larger crowd to spread out and feel comfortable. So we have, I think, 5 out of the 6 bands booked. So 1 more to go, hopefully by the end of this week. And then they'll all be up and you'll start to see promotion for that summer concert series happening.
Remembering it, because I might forget, is that make sure along with the trailer, they bring those stage stairs that we have stored at the highway somewhere.
On it. Mm-hmm. Yep. So the first weekend is going to be on Friday, July 17th. Yeah, I'm excited to have our summer concert series.
Will you have to make sure there's coordination for the mowing of the field and stuff? Because I know that, I don't know how much they've been maintaining that, you know?
Yeah, that's always a challenge. It was a challenge when we were at the gazebo as well.
Okay.
The good thing is now is that before DPW didn't really know when the concerts, I mean, well, they should know it was every Friday pretty much throughout the summer. But now because they have to move the trailer there on Fridays, maybe I'm hoping that it'll also, and I'm going to send a reminder on like Wednesday, like, hey, move the trailer on Friday also. Mow the field.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that'll be
if you want to put because our season was so short, we did have some leftover the lime that we used to line the chalk that we line the foul lines with and stuff.
Uh-huh.
If the grass was mowed appropriately, you might be able to do a couple chalk lines with that, so people aren't tripping over it. It's visible. Yep. And it goes away after a couple, rainstorm or whatever.
Yeah, I think we have 1 bag of that in Riverside Park that we use for Community Day, but I will reach out if we need more. But
we got a couple stripers up at the fields. Actually, and if you have a problem with the mowing, we can see, like if it's a jungle.
If it's a
jungle,
Thanks, Wayne.
Because you never know if it rains all week and then.
That's true.
Friday, you're ready to go. You may need an emergency little league mowing and field striping.
Yep, I will reach out. Thank you.
Yeah, the grass is growing a lot. I think my husband already mowed like 5 times in 5 times.
Mine's dying right now.
So that's the summer concert series. We have a good mix of folks so far. Tier is performing. We also will be having a solo piano performance of like some, Frank Sinatra classic hits, a Southern kind of country rock band, Hang Five, which is like a Beach Boys, I think like 60s, 70s kind of style, and then Pulaski Brass as well, they're going to be performing in September, and they're going to do Oktoberfest and polka and stuff. So should be a fun lineup. Next, I'll report on the NIPS collection and partner with Economic Development Commission. So most of you know.
And Thompson together.
And Thompson together. Yep, and Thompson together. So we had a collection day in June. I think Cindy, you came by. Yep, you dropped off your NIPS bottle.
Yep.
For 100. Yep. And so we collected and took in around 10,000 that day. So that brings us up to a grand total of around 40,000, correct? Yep, around 40,000.
Yep.
And so we
slightly
do have
slightly under, but
40, yep. We do have enough funds to do a collection in July for sure, and we're hopeful as August as well. Yep. So, which is really great because we were nervous we couldn't go beyond 1 month, and now it's looking like we'll be able to do 4, which is half the original time that we had planned.
Yep, that's good.
And take us through the summer.
Leslie, had we talked about the date for that? Considering that July 4th is a Saturday?
July 11th.
It is going to be the 11th.
It was
right?
put out there as the 11th. Yep.
Which is probably a date I won't be able to make, but
okay.
Just letting you know.
Yep. I'll talk a little bit about Community Day. The Community Day Committee has been meeting for the past, I'd say, month or so, kind of watching how things were unfolding. And in our last meeting this week, we made the decision to take a different direction with Community Day. Some of the primary reasons being the size of the event. They're also currently the Department of Health is not issuing temporary food licenses, so it's difficult for food vendors. We also were concerned about the slides, having bounce houses and slides and kids using those and cross-contamination of those. And then another reason being the school has said that there will be no field trips or assemblies for students until January 2021. So that was sort of off the table for school performances. We felt that the school performances were a big part of the day as well, bringing in a lot of parents, which then they would stay and visit the vendors and go through the hay maze and, you know, buy some food and really gave it that community feel. So with a big part of our community, you know, not able to be there on that day, we wanted to look at that day again and kind of reinvent it. So we're doing a scaled down event, really focusing on the arts. A piece of it will be the Upcycled Art Show, which we added last year. So we'll have folks submitting artwork for the Upcycled Art Show. And then a small number of vendors with an art-only focus. So, you know, crafters and artists selling their local work. So we'll hopefully, if food permits allow, have, you know, a food truck, but also we're talking with Community Fire, who may be scheduling a barbecue for that day. And then hopefully we can just sort of send folks up the hill to community and have that be a partnership of events on that day. So it's, you know, I think a big piece of it when we talked as a committee was that, you know, the tagline is, you know, unity and community and really having everyone together. And it was really hard for us to imagine having this event where big parts of our community couldn't be there, or having an event where it just didn't feel like, you know, it couldn't be what we really want it to be. And we had to make the decision by July was our timeline. Because if we're doing something else, we need to, you know, start to put those plans together.
And the upcycle was such a hit at Community Day. There were quite a number of participants who entered their art. So we felt, well, maybe it's, it would make, and it's a different audience that you're pulling, right? You're not pulling in families and kids, more geared to adults.
It was a really hard decision. I think, you know, we thought by just doing this specific, you know, art show and craft show, again, it'll only bring in a certain, you know, type, which is hard because we're not serving everyone and all of their interests. We struggled as a committee where I said like, oh, well, what if we also just have the cars, you know, like, and Renee was like, Leslie, that's like, you know, now we're basically back to Community Day. And I was like, well, what if we just invite these, you know, have this, or like just this. And it was really difficult to know. We really need to scale it down to be something smaller and something specific. And we'll find, you know, we're going to talk about other ways to serve some of those parts of our community, you know, promoting when a school goes to do concerts, again, promoting those concerts in conjunction with, you know, for those performances. supporting our firehouses. The first week of October is National Firefighters Week. So supporting our firehouses by helping to promote the events that they're doing for that week. You know, we talked about some other things to help do that, but the day as we know it, we just felt we couldn't, you know, safely.
There won't be any charging of advertisement for the fences. Didn't you charge before?
So we won't have that as revenue. The only revenue we'll have is for the booths that are you know, paying to be there. So it will be slight, but we also won't have the expense of the slides. We won't have the expense of Winnie. You know, Gary O is not going to come out for the day. You know,
I think it'll pay for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it pays for itself.
I think it fits too, you know, we're all about trying to promote our green and growing community, and, you know, we're taking advantage of one of the beautiful parks, and we're still moving forward with something. The other thing, Leslie, I don't know if you saw that Joe I. Martino sent me an email thinking Community Day is going on as usual, and they wanted to do the same thing, which was they shuttled people up to the Turtle Museum. That's I'm not saying have the shuttle, but if he's still willing to have that building open, it could be part of the day. It's just in a different, you know, different location.
And that's something that we had talked about too. I think when we had first started talking, we said, well, what if we have like all these other small things going on, which is just really hard for us to pull off as a small team logistically, but it's great, you know, spend a day in Thompson, go get your chicken barbecue at Community Fire, go up and see the museum, come down and shop at some art, you know, it spreads people out, which is what we wanted, you know, we don't want 1,000 people on the ball field at once. We want, you know, folks to be spread out. But again, it's not, they're not having to drive across town. The museum's right there at the school.
Right, exactly.
I did see that email. My only concern, and I don't know, we'll see what happens, is will the school open the museum?
He's checking. Yeah. He didn't get word yet. He is checking on that. Yeah.
So we'll see what they say on that. Turkey Trot, nothing much to report. I have a meeting next week to start to talk about Turkey Trot and what that might look like. There are other races going forward in modified ways. So we're kind of collecting that data and going to start to talk about what we think our event will look like and how to structure that safely. We have a little bit of more time on that. You know, we can start to collect sponsorships, and, you know, if we don't move, we'll deal with that later. We don't start to we don't have really any spending on it until August or September. So we can start to do that. And then we did postpone the tag sale, which usually happens with tag sale with Thompson Together, usually happens the first weekend in June. It's now scheduled for August 8th. So we already have 5 folks registered for that. People are excited. We normally get around 50. We were hoping to get 25 to be at 50% capacity with that as well. So that's moving.
So though, that's spread out. So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Spread out. So if you want to sell some stuff at your house, August 8th is the day. If you've been spring cleaning.
No rain date on that? Is any
The
rain?
following Saturday, the 15th. Yep. Adult programs, so we are starting all of our classes that we're offering are going to be starting the week of July 13th. We wanted to get through the 4th of July and closer to that phase 3 timeline. So we're offering 2 outdoor adult fitness classes. One is a hoop class, and then the other is a yoga class. So we already have started to get registrations for those. Hopeful that, and because they're outside, they'll be practicing social distancing as well. Senior programs, I'm working with Gladys Green to schedule and it starts at home. So it starts at home has done a few senior meals at Gladys Green and had great success. They brought in a musician and they had the meals come in, and seniors ate the meals sort of in their doorways and on their steps outside and could listen to the musician. So I'm working with It Starts at Home and Gladys Green for a senior meal, either end of July, beginning of August, where we would bring in bingo and provide bingo cards, and they could play and have the meal and play bingo and have some prizes. And again, socialize, but you know, from a distance. We've been advised, and I've talked with a few other folks that work with the senior population, Teague and the Pomfret Senior Center, and really everyone is staying to, they are not doing any senior events that are encouraging seniors to leave their homes at this time. Until the governor says that seniors can start to go out and do programming, we just felt it would be, you know, kind of encouraging that, and we didn't want to do that. So we won't be offering any senior programs as a town until it's encouraged. I've been in contact with TVCCA as well, and they're saying the same thing. When we're ready to start meals, they will certainly serve them as well. But most of what they're hearing from other cafes is they're waiting until that guidance from the state says seniors are, you know, can start to go back out, being that they're the most at-risk population. And then youth programs, we've got a lot starting up. I put it out to the summer staff that without summer camp, I'd love to be able to offer some youth programming, and some of our staff came back with some great creative ideas. So I have a staff member who's going to be starting to offer private guitar lessons. And so that's, you know, you can kind of schedule the time. It's at the town hall. He's been playing for a few years. I have another staff member who is going to be leading an online teen leadership programs. One is for 7th and 8th graders. It's a leadership development program. And one is for 9th graders. It's a counselor in training program. This is a big piece, I think, that's lost at camp, is we rely a lot on some of those older campers to kind of have some of that leadership piece or that counselor in training piece to then become counselors the following summer. So I shared it with other area rec directors and said, you know, send them to our counselor and training program, our online counselor and training program. We'll train them well and give them back to you. Like, we won't steal them, you know, so that it's something that they can have a piece of and they don't miss out on that leadership development. And then I shared those with Teague, and Teague is also willing to offer scholarships for those programs as well. So they're sharing them with some other folks. And then a couple more classes. We have a music class that's going to be offered, a theater class, an art class, and then a hoop class. So like a fitness class. So those are all starting the week of July 13th. And emails are starting to go out and ads in the paper. And
Leslie?
Yeah.
I believe I may have a decent youth guitar, because I'm assuming that some of these kids will not have them. They will probably eventually need them, but
yeah,
I'll take it out of the closet.
Chris and I talked about that, because I have one and he has one, but he said, you know, he's happy to have that, which I think we put in the description, but then they wouldn't have one to practice on. So like to go home and practice. So he's gonna say, but I said, you know, if a parent's signing up, a guitar might be something they don't want to quite invest in yet. They want to see if they like it. So I think I might advertise that there's guitars available for the lesson, you know, because if they teach 6 weeks and they pay for the lesson, then they know if it's worth the investment of buying the guitar. So
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. That's good to know. So that's where we are with programs. So we're starting things slowly. Yay. Slowly.
So you already booked the laser show you said for October? That's been booked, the laser show? That's been approved?
It has been booked. It has not been approved.
At the school, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'll revisit that maybe in August or September when we need to start promoting it. But I am thinking about plan Bs for Halloween if we do not do the laser show.
Did you do the show outside?
Yeah, I was wondering that. I know they're doing quite a few different things, so maybe it's a possibility.
Depends on the weather.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Any questions on programs that are happening? Things that are going on? Okay.
Oh, the other thing we talked about was kits. Where did we leave off on that? Are we not gonna?
Oh, we didn't. I got to revisit that.
Okay.
Thanks. I'll remember. All right. Thanks for the reminder. The next area is new business. I have St. Joe's listed underneath there for the may have heard that St. Joe's is closing. St. Joe's in town is closing after 137 years of being in operation. So I went to the school to tour. They are very hopeful that the building will not sit empty, and they are offering tours and opportunities to anyone who's interested in utilizing the building. And it sort of prompted me to go on that and go and tour the facility in case we need space, in case we are not able to be in the school, or just in general, just to explore that space. So it's pretty nice.
What about insurance? You're under Thompson Insurance if you do that?
If we were to go into another school?
Yeah, like that school, they're closed. What about the insurance? If someone got hurt there, would be under our Thompson Insurance, or how would that work?
Yeah, we would be under our Thompson Insurance. It would be a rental agreement. So you'd have to draft a rental agreement with them, to be in operation. So, it's a pretty complicated process to try to do that, and we're not really in the position of having, a big pool of money to pull from, or we have a budget that's been set. So it's a lot of obstacles and hurdles to over. I am going to reach out to Ann Miller and just see what their plans are in regards to opening and space and whatnot, if they're going to be having guests in and out of their facility, if they are going to be using the school for the preschool programs, if it's something too that they are also looking for space to, expand programs, or what their needs are as well. I don't think that I couldn't see rec filling, all the space there, but it certainly allow us a lot of opportunity to expand program offerings, wellness classes, preschool classes that she runs, but a lot of things. So just beginning conversations just to see the space and to dream a little about what we might be able to do.
I could see Anne moving her whole holiday giving out of her space. And
they are busting at the seams.
They are busting at the seams for sure.
So I think that, starting a conversation with Anne and sort of seeing, is this something that, we could, fulfill together? Is this something that could be, that you have a need, we have a need, and it's, could be possible in that way. I don't see rec needing that much space, or being able to fill that much space, or being able to pay for that much space. Certainly when I toured, we were really only looking at the first floor. We didn't have a need for any space above that. I thought a room for preschool fatigue, a room for, the cafeteria being used for fitness classes or large meetings, or meals, because there's a kitchen there, two rooms used for before and after school, age groups divided, maybe a teen room where you have some, computers or hangout space for, middle school programming, drop-in youth center, but really just the first floor being the usable space. Yeah. Any thoughts? Anybody?
Love the space.
Love the space.
Can I ask a question?
Money. Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
So are they looking to sell it, or are they looking to rent it?
Rent it.
Rent it. Because I have an extremely large Girl Scout troop. I'm rolling at 30 right now. We started the year with 34. My assumption is we've grown every year. We're going to continue to grow. We do not fit in the library anymore, without fail. Not to mention, we get bumped every single time that there's some sort of a, they decide they're not doing their meeting at the town hall. They want to do it at the library. We get kicked to the very small room in the corner, which I don't fit in. It's a fire hazard. So we're looking for new space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big issue at the library too. I think for rec, we don't have a home, we rely on the library, we rely on the school, and we sort of take what we can get. We sort of feel the same way. We're getting bumped, we're getting moved. We don't know if we're going to have it, what it's going to cost. I think that we do have a lot of groups in town who need space, who need somewhere to go. We have seniors, we have Girl Scouts, we have Boy Scouts, we have, Little League that will have meetings, and, soccer that'll have meetings, and, T could have preschool. They're talking about, NA meetings, AA meetings, all of these different groups that need a place to go.
Just need somebody to swoop in and buy the building for the town of Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to buy it, just if you know anyone.
Yeah.
But I think we're talking about, renting that space, now to see what that would look like. So it's just very, and I know they're fishing, they're going wherever they can, so they're asking folks everywhere and anywhere who's interested, what's the need. So my hope is to sort of get all those people that we know together and say, like, we're all interested, let's go together.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, so it's good to hear that, Jess, on your end too. You guys are in need of it. And it, in the library is a beautiful space, and we're very lucky to have a community center, but it's not enough, and it's shown that it's not enough as we continue to have more programs and want to grow what we're offering our community.
Part of that building could easily be, a business. A daycare could operate out of one end. Of course, we have a daycare across from me that's for sale, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it is a fantastic building.
Classes, a lot.
Suggest maybe you reached out to now as well.
What was
I
that?
have not yet.
What was that, Steve?
Now, Northeast Opportunities for Wellness. I mean, maybe, I don't know that they have a home, and I'm just saying, if you're looking for groups to band together, maybe they would be a big player for that.
Yeah, I was on a NOW meeting a couple of weeks ago, and actually they're on my list to reach out to because of the softball clinic, because they're looking to partner and go to clinics and attend because their spring season was lost, so they're saying, if you're doing anything, please invite us, we'll jump in, we'll bring snacks, we'll help. They're really looking to get out there this summer if folks are offering. But yeah, I'll mention that. I don't know if they had a home. I don't know where they operate out of. Yeah, I mean, there's a nice office space right there for them. Okay. So I'm hoping that nobody else bites on it, and we can maybe spend some time getting the ball rolling. But the longer it sits, the harder, the more work will be to do to reopen it.
Well, that's the problem. They sit and then they deteriorate, and I'm sure the diocese would rather see a quick sale just to get rid of it and get anything out of it, rather than them marketing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they would like to see someone buy it, but if they can get some rent, they're definitely, in need of that revenue.
Right.
Any other questions? Tom, you're here? Can you hear us? Can we vote on the minutes now that we have a quorum? Any other comments from the commission? There's citizen comments.
Sure, I'll do a citizen's comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Only because I was late. I was wondering if you had talked about the cancellation of the summer camp.
Yep.
The notorious Facebook page. I saw somebody bitching about the notification. How, of course, you got half. I shouldn't say half. There's a very small minority of people who don't believe in the COVID, and there seems to be the ones that are outspoken. However, as you know, my son Eric was part of Marinopolis's Camp Stonewall, and they canceled out for the summer. But it appears like there's some camps that are still going on, and even nationally there's some camps going on. But he follows this blog, and there's quite a few camps that are now in trouble because they're having the COVID is actually running through the camp.
Wow.
And so if I can find some of that information, it's good. I don't know if it needs to be proof, for anybody, but this is what you're trying to avoid. It's the safe, ultimately it's the safety of the kids and the affordability. It really came down to affordability for us.
Yeah, I mean, I kept the statement really short because I didn't want to get into the back and forth of all the reasons why and blah, blah, blah. I also didn't post it on our Facebook page because I didn't want to engage in a conversation. I just wanted to inform folks, which was via email. Personally, I've, this is personal, not professionally, but personally, I've deleted Facebook from like my phone and my computer because I've just found it over the last few months to be very toxic. So I'm only going on Facebook to post on the rec site. That's for me personally. If I can't spend time engaging in a forum that is unprofessional and disrespectful. I'm not going to engage in that way.
Steve, that was probably the post I saw that was on the Webster Dudley.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, I did comment, but there were, because I just felt compelled, obviously.
I wrote and then erased.
Okay, but many of the comments were supporting the decision.
Supportive. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of camps are canceled. My grandson's camp in California, my niece's camp in New Jersey. I mean, a lot of states have canceled.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Places that, it's an understanding. Places that are in our area that are running have a pretty big backing of some other entity, or have no choice financially and have to. The Koinonia, she's got to make that money. That's her source of revenue. Her how she pays. It's everything. It's her business, her private business. The Y, of course, has some support. And
they can do their own cleaning. They don't have to have they can do their own cleaning.
They can do their own cleaning.
So it's less expensive than
they have a space. They have their own staff to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
They do. Yeah. So everybody's unique and comfortable in their different way of what they're doing. Steve, I haven't seen the same thing. I'm on some several weeks ago before I got off. I am on a couple like summer camp professional groups, and I shared with Renee that there was a summer camp that opened in, I think it was like North Carolina or South Carolina, in the South, where because they open a little bit earlier than their schools get out earlier, and they open earlier, and they had their staff there for staff training, and two staff members, siblings, got a call that their parents had tested positive. So those two staff members quarantined. Then another staff member got symptoms, so that staff member quarantined. And then all those three got tested, all tested positive. So then they tested all of the staff, and they had 35 out of 100 staff test positive.
Wow.
And then they all quarantined at camp for 14 weeks, and then announced that they were going to be open. 14 days. Yeah, 14 days.
Yeah.
14, and then announced that they were going to reopen.
Oh my goodness.
Campers. And I was like, who's going? That's
got to be for profit, perhaps. For profit.
Correct.
Business. Yeah.
It was actually a Christian camp. It was a Christian camp. But I would.
Anyways.
Christians make money too.
Yeah, they do make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I feel confident in our decision. I think it was financial and safety. I think it was both. And I feel good about the programs that we're offering. It's also, I think, sort of sparking ideas for, future programs. And when camp comes back up, these are programs that I think, if they run successfully this year, these are programs that could continue in a different need of filling. Not everyone needs childcare 9 to 5. Some folks just want, a 2-hour piece of programming to break up the day. And so I'm excited about our staff getting an opportunity, especially with these programs. It's what our staff are passionate about and what they like to do. They're passionate about the music and guitar and theater and softball. So it's really playing into their strengths. And I think also kind of showing, it's not easier, but it's great for them to connect to kids who have similar interests, so they know that all the kids who are coming are going to have that similar interest, and they're all, the staff who are teaching these classes are all Turtle Hat graduates. So it's, connecting them and showing, what they're doing with those skills, and that they found a hobby and an interest, and sort of sparking that in some of these kids. So I'm excited about the programs and about we're offering. And again, we've never offered a teen leadership programs, LIT or CIT. This is something that now that we have the curriculum base could easily be transferred, for summers to come, in not online version, but in person.
So we did do them actually.
Oh,
Just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You did CIT. We've done CIT, but yeah. So, yeah, so, yeah, we did talk a little bit about camp, but I have not seen any comments because I've been off the Facebook.
Good,
Trying to keep my life positive.
good.
Looking forward.
Good.
Anything else? Do we want to vote on the minutes?
Yes.
Now that we've got current 1, 2, okay.
I'll make a motion. Accept the minutes.
Of May 27th.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Great. So our next meeting is scheduled for July 22nd at 6:30. I wanted to ask, how do people feel if it's nice weather about meeting outside in person with 6-foot distance? Anyone interested, or do we want to do another meeting on Zoom, or how do folks feel about it?
My son might be here at that date yet. He might come up for the June 22nd, so I would have to on Zoom if I could. I don't know.
Good. Okay.
Not sure, you know. Everything's
Has it been-
that day.
Has it been easier to get a quorum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if reply.
Yeah, just reply and I'll know we have it.
Yeah.
Just reply and I'll know we have it. Yeah, I think I think we'll do July on Zoom, and then we'll see where we're at. Maybe we'll continue through the summer and then revisit in September.
Probably a good plan.
Where, kind of because everyone's schedule's a little off in the summer and got vacations and things. So, okay.
Yep.
So we'll do a plan for July and August on Zoom, and then revisit September. I know that there are meetings, some commissions that are starting to meet in person, and in July, and like doing distance inside or outside. And so I thought I would just ask that. So
Is the town hall open now?
the town hall is open by appointment starting on Monday.
Okay.
So, we ask that you call ahead to say that you're coming, but if you get to the door and you call, someone will come and let you in. It's mostly by appointment because taxes, the tax office is going to start taking payments, and that's going to be through the upstairs entrance only. So the back door upstairs will be open, the other doors will be locked. And then school security is going to be monitoring that door to only allow a certain number of folks into the building at a time. And has a few like health screening questions to ask as well. So we'll start having activity and folks coming in and out of the town hall. Anything else? Okay. A motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, Cindy. Somebody need a second.
I'll second.
Renee, 7:44. Adjourn. Nice to see you all. Can't wait to see you in person. A couple more months.
Are you in the building tomorrow, Leslie?
No, my carpets are being torn up tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.